It was interesting for me in terms of flying, in that one of the things we had at that stage that it went out of fashion later with the aircraft changing over, but we used to have a summer camp for the air cadets where an air experience flight would send their Chipmunk aircraft and we would operate them for the summer, flying cadets. So I was able to renew my acquaintance with the Chipmunk. Chipmunk was the first thing I ever flew. And as I may have told you before, I was never an air cadet or anything. So when I started flying on the Chipmunk, a tail dragger, I found it enormously difficult.
Really?
20 years later when I went back to it, what was the problem? I don't understand. But I was able to do that and have a bit of fun there. But also we had a search and rescue Wessex flight on the base, and I was able to fly with them quite a lot because coming from Harrier background, you do a Harrier leading course flying helicopters. Yep. I'd been based with helicopters quite a lot and I'd flown them quite a lot, so I was able to go and fly with the yellow helicopters, the Wessex.
Lovely.
We did have one slightly amusing incident where there was me, Wing Commander OC Ops, in the left-hand seat, a flying officer flying the aircraft in the right-hand seat, and the flight at that time had a squadron leader rear crew person in charge of it, and he was down the back and he was going to go on the cable. So we went out to this RAF Marine craft out over the North Sea and approached the boat, put the squadron leader on the winch, put him down onto the deck, and at that point it seemed the aircraft was drifting slightly to the right, and the man operating the cable was warning about this, saying, you know, don't go any further, I'm losing sight. And the pilot then was losing sight, and he asked me, can you see it? No, I can't, I'm on the wrong side here. And at that point, the chap on the top of the cable fired the guillotine and cut the cable. So now there's a very irate squadron leader on the deck of this little boat, a very worried flying officer flying this airplane, and we're at least half an hour from coal to shore, and he'd have to get the spare aeroplane readied and get back out. So it's going to take an hour and a half at least between putting the flight commander down and getting him back again. So it could be an interesting conversation, so I left him to do that. But I had some good times with them. It's good fun going and hovering over. And I didn't realise there's this maritime thing. They have a common frequency, and they could just call up on this common frequency any boat they saw, go and get its name and call them up and say, can we come and do some winching on your deck? Invariably they'd say yes. So it was quite a good fun time doing that.